Hi, third grade. We are now into week 4 already in quarter number 2. And this week in grammar, we're going to focus on something called dialogue. The exact words that a character says is called dialogue, she told us. The sentence I just read above includes dialogue. What do you notice about dialogue? You should be able to tell me that dialogue are the exact words that somebody says. And when we have dialogue in the books that we read, or when we write dialogue in our stories, when we have our characters speaking to one another, we need to remember to use quotation marks, commas, and all kinds of other rules that we're going to talk about today. Here's an example of not dialogue. Mom told me to clean my room. That's a statement. That's telling what she told. But here is an example of dialogue. Clean your room, said Mom. What's the difference between these two? In the second one, you see the quotation marks and the comma, and you see the tag, said Mom. That's an example of dialogue. In the first one, it's just kind of summarizing what Mom said. Clean your room, said Mom. This part is the dialogue where it says clean your room. The part that is in quotation marks is the dialogue. And the other part is called the tag. The dialogue is what was said, and the tag is who said it and how. Maybe sometimes you're reading books and you see a tag that said Mom angrily, or yelled Mom. Okay, those are examples of tags. Notice you have quotation marks before the dialogue, then you have a comma, and after the comma, you have the closing quotation marks. Dialogue is punctuated with quotation marks and commas. Dialogue is punctuated differently based on a couple of things. One is whether the sentence is a statement, exclamation, or a question. And the second thing there is if the tag is at the beginning or the end of the sentence. So we're going to look at some of these examples together today. Here's how you can punctuate dialogue with the tag at the end. Notice it's, quote, I baked some cookies, comma, quote, said Mom, period. Quote, I love when you bake cookies, exclamation mark, quotations, I exclaimed, period. And quotation mark, can I have 2 cookies, question mark, quotation, I asked, period. Here's the example. I baked some cookies, comma, quote, said Mom. Okay, so if you're just writing a sentence, that's how you punctuate it correctly. You put quotes before the words that were said, I baked some cookies. Then you put a comma and close the quotes and said Mom, period. The period doesn't go until the very end. Let's try with this example. Put your name on your paper, said Mrs. Cook. Well, let's look at the words Mrs. Cook is actually saying. She's saying, put your name on your paper. Those are the words that are coming out of her mouth. So we need quotation marks before what she says. We need a comma after the last thing she says and closing the quotation marks. Last but not least, I almost forgot this step too. At the very end of the sentence, we need a period. Okay. Let's look at this example with an exclamation mark. I love when you bake cookies, I exclaimed. Notice the quotation marks, the exclamation mark, the closed quotes, and the period. And let's try it with this example. Don't forget your lunch, yelled Mom. So we need quotation marks before what she says. Since it's using that verb yelled, we're also going to use an exclamation point, and then we're going to close the quotes before the tag. So after yelled Mom, we need a period at the end. Here's a question example. Can I have 2 cookies? I asked. Notice the quotes at the beginning, the question mark, and then the closed quotes, and a period at the end of the tag. Let's try it with this one. Can I sit next to you? Asked Wendy. Well, Wendy is saying, can I sit next to you? So we need quotation marks before. We need a question mark because she's asking, can I sit next to you? We need to close the quotation marks. And what do we need at the very end? You got it, a period. Now, punctuating dialogue with a tag at the beginning of the sentence is a little bit different. Notice the tag saying, she whispered, don't wake the baby. I asked, can I hold the baby? She exclaimed, of course you can. Now, when you have the tag at the beginning of your sentence, notice what we have going on. She whispered, comma, and then we put the quotes. Notice it goes, comma, quote, capital letter. I used to say that to my students all the time, comma, quote, capital. And then at the end, you put your punctuation and close the quotes. Okay, so let's see if we can follow that pattern in these examples. She whispered, comma, quote, capital letter D, don't wake the baby, period, close quotes. How will it look here? Kara said, I will be right back. After the tag, we need comma, quote. I is always capitalized, so we don't need to change that. But then at the very end, this is just a sentence, so we need a period, and we need to close the quotes. Okay, let's look at this one with the tag at the beginning. I asked, comma, quote, capital C, can I hold the baby? Question mark, close quotes. Brady asked, can I have dessert? Okay, so after the tag, which is Brady asked, we need, comma, quote, capital C. Okay, can I have dessert? That's a question, so we need a question mark and close the quotes. Nice work. Okay, here's another one. This is an exclamation because it says, she exclaimed, comma, quote, capital O for of course you can, exclamation mark, close quotes. Let's try with this example. Hannah exclaimed, I am so excited. So after the tag, we need comma, quote. I is already capitalized again, so I don't have to change that. But since it's an exclamation, we need an exclamation mark and to close the quotes. So what are some things that all dialogue must have? If someone is speaking, you need to put quotation marks around the words that are being said. And depending on where it is, we also use commas, we can use periods, exclamation points, and question marks depending on the sentence. Thank you so much for joining me today. We will practice using dialogue throughout the week.